Southern Gaza is where Israeli forces told Palestinians living in northern Gaza to move for their own safety. Yumna El-Sayed reports from Khan Younis.
More homes destroyed, more families ripped apart by Israeli bombs, followed by the all-too-familiar cries for help at the overstretched hospitals and the desperate fight to save lives.
The area was hit by a number of missiles. Many were killed and injured. All of them were children, all civilians. The entire area was leveled as if it were an earthquake. It is a genocide. All those killed were children, innocent children. The entire neighborhood was reduced to dust.
The Gaza Health Ministry says several Palestinians were killed and injured in this strike. Khan Younis is in the southern Gaza and housing people forcibly displaced from the north. Israel has told Palestinians to move south while it intensifies operations in the north. Then it bombs the south again and again.
I was coming with my horse. I stopped the horse. The aircraft came and fired something that looked like a belt in the sky. The bombs rained down on us. There was bombardment everywhere. They were not rockets. They were like barrel bombs. So I kept looking at them. I have 2 young daughters and this boy. Everything collapsed and I couldn't see anything.
Survivors salvage what they can in the hope they may rebuild their homes one day.
It's the first time I've seen such an airstrike. What is happening? I asked God to take vengeance on the United States. They killed us, inflicted a Nakba upon us. I asked God to take vengeance on the killers of our children.
Many Palestinians now say they rely only on God. They have no faith in the rest of the world. Yumna El-Sayed, Al Jazeera, Khan Younis in the southern Gaza Strip.
Well, joining me now from Khan Younis in southern Gaza is Mansour Shouman, a Palestinian who lives there. Mansour, thanks once again for joining us here on Al Jazeera. As we saw and heard in that story and earlier from our correspondent in Khan Younis, we know that there have been more bombardments overnight. Can you just give us an idea of what it's been like there in the last 24 hours?
Yes, I was walking in downtown Khan Younis yesterday, and in front of me in Beni Sahel in Khan Younis, an airstrike belt hit several houses adjacent to each other, just 200 meters in front of me. I later learned about the casualties that have come here into the hospital. A couple of hours ago, residents close to the main cemetery where we bury our dead here in Khan Younis told us that the cemetery itself was hit, and the people who are dead, even the people who are dead are not at peace anymore. I mean, graveyards are now tumbled above the ground. Since I've been here for the last 5 weeks, we have not seen any aid trucks that have supposed to have come in from Rafah. The only time we've seen something is a few pallets of water bottles, which people quickly took within 2 minutes. It was finished. It was done. Yesterday, I had met a few doctors who had come from Al-Shifa and from the north, who told us about the extremely devastating situation there. They talked about that the Israeli army, whoever was walking down during the so-called humanitarian ceasefire and the so-called humanitarian road, were either taken into custody and used as human shields during their land invasion attempts, or all of their belongings were stolen, or they were humiliated or shot on. Many have arrived injured here.
I understand that you are a father, and I just want to get a sense of what it is like for children who are living through all of this. I mean, I know it must be incredibly difficult as an adult, but how do you describe what's going on to your children?
As a father, as a husband, I mean, my children There is no difference between how I feel towards what's happening with them as the 2.3 million other Palestinians here and all other free members of this world who are going through hardships. Like the bread lines, right now the bakeries, 95% have closed. Whatever bakery lines are left, people stand for 7 to 8 hours waiting for the bread. There is no clean water. There is no fuel to run electrical generators. There is no medical supplies. There is no replenishment of goods. People here are living in uncertainty, in fear, and they are angry, and they are feeling despair. However, they are channeling all their emotions into actions.
What sort of actions are you talking about?
So mothers try to take care of their children. They try to think of, okay, what am I going to cook today? If there is any gas, is there any water for me to shower my children? The men, if they can work, any kind of work, they go out during their day. They try to make a few shekels here and there to try to bring some supplies back to their families. People like myself who has the ability to communicate to channels like Al Jazeera, to try to give the outside world what is actually happening to the human beings, to the civilians here. Try to have people act, politicians act, to open the borders, to have a ceasefire, to allow the people in Gaza here to live a little bit of a normal life after 37 days of genocide and war crimes by the Zionist forces.
Mansour, I know that you, along with hundreds of thousands of other Palestinians, have moved from the north to the south, doing exactly what the Israeli military told you to do, but you're still being bombed where you are now, aren't you? Can you just explain what that is like, to be displaced internally to somewhere that you've been told will be safe to go to, but clearly it isn't?
It is very, very disappointing, but we are not surprised anymore. The Israeli army have lied so many times over the past few weeks that no one here believes them. As per the numbers reported by the Ministry of Health, 48% of those killed or injured were in the middle or south region, which is called the safe areas designated by the Israeli forces. Continuously, we hear the spy drones above us. And every few hours, where I am here in Nasser Hospital, we hear ambulances come in carrying dead and injured. People here do not feel safe. People here do feel uncertainty all the time. One of the positives that are happening here in Nasser Hospital is the building behind me is the maternity ward here. And every couple of hours, every hour, we hear the good news of a new life, a new baby coming into this world. Hopefully, this generation, the upcoming generation, will live a better life than the generation that we are living right now.
Mansour, we really do appreciate you describing what it is like there for the everyday person. Mansour Shouman, who is in Khan Younis at the moment, thank you.